Hello, hello, happy Monday, and welcome to Making Waves with Moana Adams. I'm your host, Moana, a teenage girl with a lot to say and a lot more to learn. And today we're doing another seasonal TBR with teen author Aaralynn Karman. So I'm gonna let Aaralynn introduce herself and give a brief introduction into who she is.
Hello! I am the young adult fantasy author of the Great Diviner series. I obviously write books. I am editing book 2 of the Great Diviner series right now. Book 1, Meeting Twilight, is already out and available, and I'm also writing book 3 of the Great Diviner series and working on a children's book that I am both writing and illustrating.
That's so exciting. I cannot wait. The kids book, I like just based off the title that you told me is going to be really cute. I have always wanted, it's been a goal of mine to write a kids book since like second grade, and I've never kind of followed that very much. So I think it's really awesome that you're doing both.
Yeah.
So we always start off with current obsessions, and this is just something about or in your life that you're currently loving. And this week, mine is my Psychology 101 course that I'm taking at Arizona State through their online learners program. Being homeschooled, I'm able to take pretty much any class that I want. And psychology has been on my list for a long time. I love this class. It's super interesting, and my professor is amazing. So that really helps. It's a lot of reading, like so much reading, but it's definitely worth it because the things that I'm learning I can really apply in my day-to-day life, which is really exciting. Aaralynn, what is your current obsession?
My current obsession right now is a TV show called Avatar: The Last Airbender. With the new live action TV show that just came out, it made me want to rewatch the original series that I had watched a bajillion times growing up. So it's been really fun to rewatch and kind of relive a favorite childhood show.
I love that. I have not gotten into that yet. I have a couple of friends who have like told me like you need to watch it and like family members, but I haven't quite gotten into it. I'm not one for like animated at all. I prefer live action, so maybe the live action will like push me to watch it.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way too. I prefer live action over animated, but I don't know. I just kind of like Avatar: The Last Airbender. Both kinds are good.
Yeah, I agree. I get a lot of animated in my house cuz I'm the oldest, so I get a lot of younger shows. Next up is High Tide. So I always like to give the audience something that is going to motivate them, self help, inspirational, whatever it is that week. So it could be a book, a podcast, a YouTuber, a TED Talk, whatever it is. And this week, mine is The Wizard Liz. Now, Liz is amazing. She's definitely a little bit controversial, and she's very aggressive with the things that she talks about. But I think that a lot of the topics she covers are really, really great. She's definitely for like the older teenagers. So if you're younger, maybe wait a couple years for Liz. But she's amazing. She, like I said, is very aggressive with what she talks about, but she makes things very clear, and she's kind of a tough love kind of girl, and I think sometimes you just need that from someone. So I really love her, and you should definitely check her out. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the things. Aaralynn, what is your high tide?
So my recommendation would be this app that I found while scrolling through Google Play. It's called the Finch app. And it's this adorable little app where when you start, you get to hatch a little finch bird. And then you set goals for yourself, like one of them can be a reminder to drink water or to do a 3-minute exercise that you enjoy. And whenever you complete those goals, you kind of level up your finch bird and you get these gems to buy stuff to like give your finch bird some clothes, or you can decorate your finch bird's house. And it's really cute and motivational. So I really love it.
I love that. I have used Pinch before. I really like it. I've kind of switched away from it because I use Notion so much, but I think it's like a really cute way if like that's something that interests you and gets you excited to complete your tasks and your goals is like having a cute little like virtual pet to take care of. I think it's really great and I love it. It's like one of the cutest habit tracking apps that I've found. A lot of them are really sterile, so I think that one makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's get into our spring TBRs. We do this every quarter. We bring on a teen author or book lover to talk about what's on their reading list and what they're reading. And my first one is Little Women by Louis May Alcott. I absolutely adore this book. I am currently on page 297 out of 468, so I'm about 66% of the way done. I have been trying to get through this book since the second grade. I got my own kids' classic version and could not get past the first 10 pages. It's so boring in the beginning and so slow. And I was a really big reader as a kid and I still could not do it. But I really wanted to read it in March because, like, the girl's last name is March, so that's kind of like, I thought it was a good fit and it's a good spring read. I got the movie edition because Greta Gerwig's 2019 rendition of Little Women is my all-time favorite movie, directed by Greta Gerwig, who is one of my all-time favorite directors, and then it has my favorite actress Florence Pugh and my second favorite actress Emma Watson in it. So I just love this movie and the book so much. It's definitely slow and long, so if you're not into, and it's older English, so if you're not into that kind of classic genre, I would not recommend it, but I definitely recommend the movie to everyone. I don't think I've ever met a girl who has not liked this movie. I mean, like I said, the cast is amazing. There's also like Timothée Chalamet and Meryl Streep and like so many other amazing people who did this movie, and I think it's just so good.
One of the books on my TBR, which I'm actually currently reading, is A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. I read the first two books last year and they were really good. And so I've been eagerly awaiting this last book in the trilogy. And I'm currently on chapter 17 of it, and it is living up to the expectations that I had.
That's so exciting. I have not gotten into those yet. I'm not really a fantasy girl anymore. I used to be. I've kind of shifted more to like the mystery and like nonfiction now. But I don't know, sometimes I like to go back to that, so I might have to check those out. My second one is Violent Bent Backwards Over the Grass by Lana Del Rey. I talk about Lana all the time. I love her so much. She is my favorite artist, and I really wanted to read her book because I think she's such a good writer, and I really wanted to see like how that came through with just text and no music. I also love a good poetry moment in the spring. I feel like it's the perfect time for it. And I wanted a easy, kind of mindless, not necessarily mindless, but more simple read after Little Women because it is such a big, intense, slow read and it takes a lot of time and energy to get through because like I said, it's old English, so you really have to think about what you're reading. And I thought that this would be such a great, slow, chill, relaxing read after that. But I'm very excited about it. One of my best friends, well, a lot of my friends really love Lana too, and I showed one of my friends the book the other day, and she was like, "This is so cool. This is such a nice book. Like, I cannot wait to borrow it from you." So I'm very excited about this one.
So, my second is Morrowind's Soul by Addison Horner. It is by a fellow indie author like me, and so I'm very excited to read it. It's like very spooky, and there's a pastry heist in it, so I think that's definitely going to make it a very fun read.
It sounds very fun. I love getting into small authors who are just starting out or just aren't as recognized for their work because I think that a lot of small authors have like a very uniqueness to them. It's like the same with music. Like if you get into a small artist, like they have like a very unique sound. So I think it's really interesting to read from smaller authors and you know see that their style is so different than what we're used to.
Yes, definitely.
My third book is Five Survive by Holly Jackson. I talk about Holly all the time because I love A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. It is one of my favorite books. I love the characters in the books. Pip is the main character, and she is the fictional character that I relate to the most. Her kind of aesthetic, and then her podcast, like, I get compared to her a lot because I have a lot of friends who have read the books, and also her personality is very similar to mine. And so I really relate to her, and these books like hold a very special place for me. And so Five Survive is a totally separate one-off book that Holly released kind of recently, and I have really high expectations. It takes place over spring break in an RV, so it's like the perfect read for me because if anybody knows RV life, it's me. I spent a year traveling, so of course I know what that's like. And it's perfect for spring because spring break. So this is definitely going to be the book that I read during my spring break.
Sounds very fun. The next on mine is the Inheritance Games and the Brothers Hawthorne series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I plan to listen to it as an audiobook, kind of like buddy reading it with my mom. The two of us, listened to the beginning of the Brothers Hawthorne before realizing that the Inheritance Games comes first. And the beginning of the Brothers Hawthorne was pretty hilarious. So I have high hopes for this series.
I have heard so much about these books because they are very popular on like Book Talk, and I have not read them yet. I feel like maybe my mom has. I don't know. She reads a lot more than I do, and I read a lot. Her and I just listened to Elvis and Me by Priscilla Presley because we watched the movie Priscilla, and I loved it. Love this movie so much. And so we listened to the book together, and it was really good. And I love like being able to share books with my mom.
Yes, me too. It's always fun to get to talk with someone about the books that you're reading.
Yes, definitely. My fourth book is a nonfiction. This is my spring nonfiction read, and it is Girls That Invest, Your Guide to Financial Independence Through Shares and Stocks by Simran Kaur. Now, this book I was not personally recommended, but she recommended in a YouTube video, and it was Tam Carr, who I also talk about all the time. She is YouTube's ultimate big sister. She's amazing. If you're really looking to become the highest version of yourself, you have got to watch her videos. I recently read two other books that she recommends, and it was, what was it? The Mountain is You and 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think by Brianna Weist. And I now love Brianna Weist so much. 101 Essays is now my favorite book I've ever read. It's a huge perspective shifter, and I think that this book will be a really great book to annotate. I have really gotten into annotating my books this year, and it's definitely made reading a lot more engaging. If you've ever struggled reading and have never really gotten into reading, I definitely suggest you try annotating while you read because it definitely makes it more engaging. And I love a good self-help financial health book.
The last book on my TBR, and I've been waiting so eagerly for this book to come out, is Beasts of War by Ayana Gray. I read the first two books like a while ago, and they were really good. It's probably one of my favorite trilogies because it's just so good. And so I've been long awaiting this last book, Beasts of War, and I cannot wait to read it.
That's exciting. I always get sad when I finish a series. Like, it's exciting, but it's also like so sad. So like once you get to the end, it's like it's so disappointing, especially because you have to like leave those characters that you've been like following for like 2, 3, 4 books now. But it's also exciting and to be able to like read something fresh and new.
Yes, definitely.
My last book is technically 2 books, and again by Holly Jackson. Good Girl, Bad Blood, and As Good as Dead are the 2 books that follow A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I talked about a few episodes ago that I reread A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and these are at the end of my spring TBR because the show is coming out, and Emma Myers is playing Pip, which is so exciting, and I really want to reread the books before the show comes out. I seriously cannot be more excited for this show. It comes out in May, and like I said, I am Pip. Like, she is the fictional character I am most alike and relate to the most. So I'm just so excited to see like what Emma does with Pip and to see her come to life more. Now that we've gotten our TBRs out of the way, we're going to shift gears, and Aaralynn is going to tell us about what it's like being a teen author and about her journey as an author and, of course, her books.
So I started writing when I was 9 years old, and it was then that I fell in love with writing and I decided I wanted to be an author. And so at 14 years old, I ended up writing Meeting Twilight, and I wrote it within 1 month. And how I did write it in 1 month, I wrote every single day that I could. I took writing very, very seriously. I treated it as if it were a job, and now that I'm an author, I still treat it as if it is a job. If someone wanted to write a book, I would say they should start with a notebook and pencil and your ideas. And write down all the ideas you have and organize them and see what you can make out of them. And when you write, remember to give yourself grace, because a rough draft doesn't need to be perfect. That's what editing and revisions are for. And most importantly, remember to have fun. My book, Meeting Twilight, is a clean young adult fantasy full of magic, mystery, adventure, and teen friendships. And it actually takes place, most of the book, takes place over spring. So that's pretty cool. And it is book 1 of the Great Diviner series, which you can get your copy now. The link will be in the description.
I love that. I love that it's a spring read. It's perfect time of the year, so you have got to make sure that you get your copy, and I'm really excited for this because, like I said, perfect spring read, and I definitely miss reading fantasy. I think that it's really fun to go to another world, especially when an author puts so much time and energy into creating a whole different world and all these characters. And I think it's important, especially as an older teen, to kind of go back to your roots of the fun things that you loved to do as a kid. I think it's so good for mental health, is taking care of your inner child and kind of revisiting those things. So, yes, the link will be in the description. Go order Meeting Twilight. It's going to be amazing. And you also have a kids book that you said you're working on.
Yes. Fungi the Mushroom Man will hopefully be released this spring. Fingers crossed. I'm almost done illustrating everything for it.
That's so exciting. I cannot wait for it to come out because I have younger siblings, and my youngest sister, who's only 6, she has a kids book that's written about her. And so I think it'll be really fun to, be like, this book was also written by, someone who is not an adult. They're a teenager. They're like your sister's age, and they wrote this book, and it's meant for people your age. And I think that's really exciting.
Yeah. My siblings actually kind of inspired Fungi the Mushroom Man. So, yeah.
Yes, I think family is like one of the best places to get inspiration is the people close to you.
Yes.
So this week's homework is to write your own spring TBR and start reading. I don't think that people should read because it's good for them or because they're told to. I think you should read because you enjoy it and you love either learning something or visiting another world that somebody else has fully created themselves. Whatever it is, I think that you should read because you enjoy it, and I think that there's something that everybody can enjoy reading. So do your research and just try to pick up a book if you're not a reader, and if you are, and you decide to read any of the books we discussed, post them on your story and tag us because I love to see them, and I want to support you in your reading goals. And yes, thank you so much for joining me, Aaralynn.
Of course, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
And thank you, everyone listening. If you love this podcast and you want to share your support, please leave a rate and review. I saw a review come in the other day, and I was so grateful for her. I'm not going to call her out right now, but she is one of my YouTube girlies, and I love her. She's amazing. And then, of course, follow on social media. Aaralyn's social media will be in the description, as well as mine, at the Moana Adams or at makingwaves.ma. I post on Instagram every week with notes from the episode to help you follow along and fun little videos. And make sure to follow the show so you never miss another episode. Don't forget to drink your water, and I will talk to you later.